If you had an extra $50,000 lying around, would you set fire to it if someone offered you $3,600 in return? Yeah, I know that's a deliberately ridiculous question, but it sets up the point I want to make today. Hey, I'm John Hurlbut with the Altitude Homes team, and today I want to chat about what's happening in the real estate market as we kick off 2025, and more importantly, why you should finally make this the year you become a homeowner. So I just hopped off a call with my friend Ben, who's got a sharp pulse on real estate and economic trends. It's early January and we're already seeing what we like to call the hot spring market starting to simmer. More homes are hitting the market, more buyers are dipping their toes in, but what does that actually mean for you? Maybe you're sitting in your apartment right now, listening to your neighbors argue over what to watch on TV, thinking, I really need to get out of here. But with interest rates where they are, I can't afford to buy, and I don't want to end up in another place with new neighbors fighting over the same stuff. I get it. I've been there. I remember my last apartment in Federal Way vividly. The lady downstairs was bedridden, and her son Owen was always around. At least 4 times a week, in the dead of night, I'd wake up to her screaming, Owen! Because she needed help. It was like living in a scene from Throw Mama from the Train. But hey, you don't have to live like that. All right, back to the market. Right now, interest rates are hovering around the mid to high 6% range. Ben thinks we'll see them drop to the high to mid 5% range by year's end. So you might be thinking, great, I'll just wait until rates drop 1% before I buy. And sure, that makes sense on the surface. But let's break down the numbers because trust me, this is where things get interesting. When interest rates move up or down by 1%, your buying power changes by about 10%. Let's say you're comfortable with a $3,000 monthly mortgage. If rates drop by 1%, you'd save about $300 a month. That's $3,600 a year. Sounds pretty sweet, right? Here's the catch. The average rent for a 3-bedroom, 1-bath apartment around here is $2,750 a month, or $33,000 a year. That's money you'll never get back, gone forever, on a place you'll never own. Look, as a landlord, I love my renters. They pay my mortgage and grow my net worth every month. But I also want to help you avoid making the same costly mistake. Now, let's add one more piece to this puzzle. Goldman Sachs is predicting a national home appreciation rate of around 4% for 2025. Locally, we tend to do even better. Last year, Pierce County saw nearly 7% appreciation, but let's be conservative and stick with 4%. Here's what happens if you wait. That $400,000 home you've been eyeing today will be worth around $416,000 by the end of the year. Meanwhile, you'll have spent another $33,000 on rent. So by waiting to save $3,600 a year in interest, you've effectively burned $49,000 between rent and rising home prices. That's like setting $50,000 on fire just to save $3,600. To wrap this up, interest rates may drop by about 1% this year. Home prices are likely to rise by around 4% or maybe more in our area. If you keep renting, you're throwing away $50,000 to save $3,600 next year. Now, who's throwing Mama from the train?
Larry! Bye, Larry!
Ready to stop the madness? Get off the rental roller coaster and start building wealth? Reach out. I'd love to help you make 2025 the year you become a homeowner. Thanks for watching. Catch you at the next one.